In this video, I will demonstrate how to make pages created using Aspen Web Builder searchable and how to help your patrons find the content they are looking for using audiences and categories. I will also talk about adding other web resources so that your patrons can see them in your website search results. First, make sure that you can see the Web Builder module in Aspen Administration. We'll be using audiences and categories to help us narrow down the searches. You need to also make sure that the website indexing module is visible to you, as we'll be using website facet settings to customize our facets. If you can't see these modules, please make sure that they are enabled in System Administration under Modules. Next, make sure that you have necessary permissions to administer these modules. In System Administration again, go to Permissions. Select the role to edit and use the search box to look for the necessary permissions. Since we'll be dealing with audiences, I can just start typing it in and Aspen will pull up the relevant permission. This one will allow me to define audiences and categories for content, so I do need to make sure that I have this one selected. And since I will also be dealing with website facets, I need to make sure that I have the permission to administer website facet settings. Whether you select all or library depends on your administrative setup. Make sure to save changes. To allow searching within basic and custom pages and other web resources, we need to make sure we have one more setting on in primary configuration. In primary configuration, go to Library Systems, select the system that you would like to edit, and scroll down until you see Web Builder Results. Make sure that Allow Searching Locally Created Web Content is selected and save changes. Once the changes are saved, they are also immediate, and a new option appears in search areas called In Library Website. That's why we recommend having some pages already created, because once we perform a blank search, all of the pages created and associated with this location will display in search results. You can sort your results by best match or alphabetically and narrow them down using these four facets. To control these four facets, we need to head over back to Aspen Administration. In Aspen Administration, look for website facets. They will be in the website indexing module under website facet settings. Select the setting you would like to edit, and you will see a view similar to the grouped worked facets view. We have four facets available: website type, site name, audience, and category. You can change their display names or customize how they show in your search results. You can also easily delete them or re-add if needed. Please make sure that you have libraries and locations associated with this setting as needed. I will rearrange them so that audience and category are on top and are not collapsed by default. I will save my changes. And as these changes are immediate, once I perform a blank search again, I will see that now the audience and category facets are open, displaying all the results, and the website type and site name are below and closed. We can't customize website type and site name too much outside of changing the display name, but we can control our audiences and categories. These values come directly from the pages we created. To create a new audience or category, we need to head back to Aspen Administration. In Aspen Administration, you can look either for audiences or categories. I will just look for the Web Builder module because that's where both of these sections are. I would also like to note that these audiences and categories are only used to categorize content within Aspen Discovery, in the sense that we'll use them to determine audiences and categories for custom or basic pages that we create or web resources that we add. These are completely separate from the search facets. Let's start with audiences first. Here we'll see the list of all the audiences we have previously added, which we can sort or filter as needed. To add one, you just scroll down to add new, and the only value that you need to input here is the name. Click Save, and a new audience has been created. It works the same for categories. So in Web Builder module, go to Categories. Again, we see a list of all the categories we have previously created that we can sort and filter. And to add a new one, we just click Add New. I am not going to add any new ones since I have plenty, so I will just go back. We can assign these audiences and categories to the web pages that we create in Aspen Admin. So there are two ways we can do it. First, we can head over to the Web Builder module and select either basic or custom pages. You can assign audiences and categories while creating pages or assign them to the existing ones as well. So I'll take an existing web page, edit it, and scroll down until I see audience and categories. Here we can see all the values that we created using audiences and categories in the Web Builder module. We can see which ones are selected for this particular page, make any adjustments associated with at least one library, and save changes. The second way of assigning audiences and categories to a page is from the search results page. I'll perform a blank search again and click on the first result. Now I need to make sure that I am logged in as a user who has the permissions to edit pages. I'll click Edit. I'll see the same view as before, so I'll scroll down, make sure I have selected desired audience or category or both, and associated with at least one library. Adding more options to the audience and category facets will allow your patrons to find their content they are looking for more efficiently. So if I am interested only in the content directed at adults, I can just select this particular option. And if I am more interested in arts and music, I'll select that option. And this way I will see all the web pages that the library has created and associated them with these values. Searching in library website is pretty straightforward. You can either perform a keyword or a title search. So if I type in, for example, yoga, Aspen will go through all the pages and try to find content relevant to my search. Just like in a regular search, I will also see an Explore More box that will have relevant results, including catalog results, events, etc. I can also use facets again to narrow my search by audience, category, type, or name if needed. So this is how audiences and categories can help your patrons find content easier in your web pages. However, audiences and categories can also come in handy when trying to promote web resources. Web resources are an easy way to promote your resources in Aspen, and audiences and categories can help you keep them organized and reach the right patron. Web resources can be added in the Web Builder module, but first you need to make sure you have the right permissions to administer them. In permissions, make sure that the option to administer web resources is selected. Next, head over to the Web Builder module and select Web Resources. This will of course show us a list of all the web resources we have already entered. To add a new one, scroll down and click Add New. I will use an existing one as an example. So let's go to the first one, Ancestry.com. Here we'll have a few options to customize how our web resource displays. First, enter the name of the resource and its URL. The URL is mandatory. You can also choose whether it will open in a new tab or not, and upload a custom image. You have an option to make this resource a featured one, which means it will display at top of your main web resources page. Selecting the option in library use only means that the accessing IP will be checked and this resource will be only available within the library. If the resource requires a library card, a note will be added that this resource requires a library card to use it. And the option that requires being logged in to access unless in library will require users to log in before accessing the resource in link unless they're already in the library. This is also connected to your IP address settings. If using this option, you most probably would like to select the requires library card as well. The next section is teaser. Teaser is the smaller description for the resource which will appear next to your resource on the main resource page. So it's like a short introduction. It cannot be longer than 512 characters. You can include a longer description, for example, access instructions in the description section. Next, you can specify which audience and category this resource belongs to. This one is a resource for adults, and it has a category assigned of local history. Please make sure you select at least one library to make your resource visible and save changes. Once you add your resources and create the web resource page, you will be able to access it by appending webbuilder/resources list to your library's URL. You can also link to that either using menu links or anywhere else in Aspen. As mentioned, on top we'll see the featured resources. So since I selected Ancestry.com as one of the featured resources, here it is. And below we'll see a list of all the resources by category. And these are the categories that we created using the Web Builder module. Since we assigned Ancestry.com the category of local history, that's where I will find it. Here I'll also find its teaser and an image. Once I click on it, I will be able to access the resource page, which will have the description, direct link to the resource, or information if this resource requires a library card or to be in the library to use it. On the right, the audience and category will also be featured. I also would like to note that the words that you use in your teaser or descriptions are important for the keyword search. So, for example, here we have the words used like generations, genealogy, family history records. So these will directly tie into the keyword search in library website. So if I, for example, look for generations, Aspen will filter all my web pages and web resources to find the most relevant result. So these are the two uses of the audience and category facets from the Web Builder module to help your patrons find what they're looking for even easier. First is for the web pages, and the second one is for the web resources. If you have any questions related to creating audiences, categories, or web resources, please do reach out to us and submit a ticket.